This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Film on Tap, where we've got the tap that never runs out. As always, I am joined by my co-hosts Nancy and Andres. We got an awesome show for you today. We're going to be talking some Mortal Kombat. We're going to be talking about a lot of big trailers that were released the past couple weeks. We've got a great show, so definitely stick around. But before we jump on in, how are you fine, guys? We'll start with you, Nancy. What have you been up to these days?
I feel like we've been better, but Andres and I.
Well, so we're just jumping right in.
So I was like the only one who's been on like a good run this week. No, I was actually talking to Andres before this. I had a bout of vertigo this week, so I missed a lot of work.
Dude, same.
Oh, really?
Oh, God.
No,
literally, it happened at like work last night. I was like training somebody, and like all of a sudden, like when I would turn my head to the left or right, like I would get kind of like dizzy. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And then it kind of like evened out and I was fine. But I was like, it happens every once in a blue moon. I don't know what it is, but hey, twins.
Yeah. It's like being drunk without the fun part.
Exactly, dude. It's just scary.
Yeah.
Without the taste of the booze.
Yeah, it started on Sunday and I was like, oh, that was weird. And then it kept happening. I was like, okay, being the behavior analyst I am, I was like, let me keep track of this. It happened 12 times that day. I was like, this is not normal. But then they gave me medication that helped with the dizziness, but they were like, well, it'll make you drowsy. I was in and out of sleep the whole day. So I was like, fuck this. I can't work that way. So now I'm just like, all right, whatever. I get dizzy once or twice a day. I'll deal with it. It's fine.
Whatever, I'll pass out. It's cool.
Yeah, it's fine. So
how about
far,
you, Andres? Have you been able to keep your balance?
I've been able to keep my balance physically, just not emotionally.
Fuck, dude. Man. Welcome to Film on Tap Therapy.
Yeah, therapy sessions. But yeah, no, I got laid off 2 days ago from my current job over at MIT, which sucks, but also at the same time not entirely surprising given the fact of like everything we talked about off camera. But yeah, it just wasn't the right fit. And then it almost felt like not even one day after I'm not working there anymore, it almost felt like the Ed Harris thing where they were like, have you seen that meme going around on Twitter right now where it's like the Ed Harris from Truman Show going, okay, so this has happened, now do this and mess up his day more. Like, have you guys seen that meme on Twitter?
I have not.
I have not, but I do remember that part.
Yeah. Like they just drop a photo of him like giving direction, and then the thing that they'll do is they'll be like they'll put something in that messes up someone's day. So like example, someone just goes, he just came in after a long day at work and turned on his PlayStation 5, put in a 20 gigabyte update before he could start anything. But it just felt like the Truman Show where all of a sudden just one thing went bad and then another thing happened. I found out that my dad actually went to the emergency room yesterday for a really bad spider bite. He's okay now, but
is he a superhero now?
He's Spider-Man. He's Macho Man.
I love how our first question is he doing all right? Does he have powers? We're such fucking nerds.
Well, if you get superpowers from a fucking Black Widow, then yeah.
I mean, you could.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Keep us updated.
Yeah, no, but he's all good, and I just found that out yesterday, and I'm like, oh my god, like they told me after he came home, and he's like, just so you wouldn't worry.
What a Mexican thing to do, or like a Hispanic thing to do. I almost kind of died, but
so
didn't
you
said
it was a Black Widow bite?
Possibly, yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
Those and what was the one? Brown recluse. Don't fuck with those.
Yeah, that's probably like the thing is that my dad he fixes cars for a living. So essentially the big thing down in Florida is that whenever you take out like a bumper or something like that, there could be something growing in there, or there could be something that has made a nest. And essentially he found like a big spider nest in one of the bumpers over in Florida, and it's just like, wow, only in fucking Florida.
Unbelievable.
Right.
Jeez. Sorry to hear this, guys.
Tom, how was your week?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Fantastic.
good. Honestly, I'm fine. Let's just go to the
compete.
Show. Let's just go to the show. So we have a pretty jam-packed show. We're gonna try to flip this frown upside down real quick. We've got a bunch of big trailers to talk about today. A lot of big movies headed our way in the summer and in the fall. So first up, speaking of fall, we've got a horror movie coming to us from Zach Kreger, the director of Weapons and Barbarian. This is his next feature, and he's doing an adaptation of Resident Evil. That's right, yet another adaptation of the popular video game franchise that he promises will be something entirely new for fans and non-fans alike. So we got our first trailer here, more of a teaser trailer more than anything, to kind of give us a taste of what he's got cooking up for us come September. What did we think about this new trailer? I know Andres is a Resident Evil fan, so we'll wait for him. We'll build the suspense there. Let's start with you, Nancy. Are you a fan of the games, or are you more like just a casual viewer fan?
Definitely a casual viewer. I think I saw the first Resident Evil movie, potentially second one. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really remember much of it. Mostly from the first is what I remember. But what's interesting is that this is not going to be anything like the movie, it seems like. Whereas like the movie, they were in the Hub, one of those. So this seems completely different. But this trailer looks so good. I don't know if I'm biased because it's Zach Kreger and I love Barbarian. I love Weapons. I'm hoping he'll go 3 for 3 here. It looks like he will. One shot alone had me hooked, where it just shows the door frame and then it has all the limbs just coming out. If we get more of that, I'm going to be so excited. And on top of that, we also have, I should have looked up his name, but the guy that was in Weapons, that
Austin
Abrams.
Yes, yeah, and also in Dash and Lily. If you haven't seen that, again on Netflix,
that's great. Underrated.
Oh yeah, it's so good. I loved him in both of those, so I'm so excited that he's the lead in this, and yeah, I can't wait to see more. I'm very excited for this one. I think it's gonna be great.
All right, Andres, Mr. Resident Evil fan over there. What are your thoughts?
As somebody who has Raccoon City memorabilia just on my desk.
Oh, it just happens to be there. Just happens to be there. Yeah.
It's right underneath my monitor, guys. But yeah, the Resident Evil franchise means so much to me. I grew up loving those games. Like, there's certain indelible memories for me as a gamer, and Resident Evil, it is one of the quintessential games for me. Like, if you want to know me, who I am as a person, you play those games, because it is the perfect blend of horror, zombie violence, and puzzle elements as well. But having said that, Paul W.S. Anderson did not do a great job, nor did, oh my God, I forget, Johan Roberts, who directed Welcome to Raccoon City. The road for Resident Evil going into films has always just been so mixed, and it's always been just so not what the games are, or even the experience of playing them is. And it's just been watered down to like a really bad actioner. Whereas with this one, it feels like Zach Kreger understands the mythology and understands the vibe and the mood of how you play these games. And in terms of just the utter terror that comes with the fact that, you know, you're by yourself and this character is basically out of his element. And as the story has been described, it is following one character's descent into hell slowly but surely. And everything about this teaser trailer so far has just, it's hitting all the right marks for me as a Resident Evil fan, in terms of just the gameplay elements, and in terms of just what it's like to sort of be there on your own. And also, here's the other thing too, as a hardcore, I love the games, but I don't recognize a single one of those creatures in this teaser trailer at all. And you know what? For me, that's exciting, because I know Kreger has said that he wanted to really take liberties with the franchise, but keep the spirit of playing the games in there. And I think with this teaser trailer so far, he's absolutely nailed it. And Nancy, there is no doubt in my mind he will go 3 for 3 on this one. Everything from the mood, the vibe, and the cinematography, and even also the creatures that we're slowly getting glimpses of here and there. It just feels like this is going to be another. It feels like it's going to be another home run for Zach Krieger. So I am so fucking excited for this movie.
Smash cut to Andre saying, "I was never more disappointed in my life."
I hope not. Oh my god. I guess we're also, I looked on IMDb, we're also getting Paul Walter Hauser in this movie. So yes. I'm hoping that means we're still going to get a splash of that comedic sense that Zach Krieger has, like he put into Weapons and into Barbarian.
But as someone who, didn't really play the games too much, I played them very casually here and there. When I was growing up, I was terrified of horror anything. So those games were terrifying. So whenever I would play one, I'd maybe play it for 10 to 20 minute spurts at a time and be like, no, and then just turn it off. But, as I got older and, enjoyed horror more and more, I definitely played more of the games, but I'm definitely no diehard fan by any stretch of the imagination. So I was really interested to see what Krieger was going to do here. And from the time that I have spent with the games, I feel like there are a lot of elements in this trailer that speak to the spirit of the games, the survivalist elements, going through draws, finding different tools that you can, that you may need on this journey, like guns or herbs or whatever. There's little moments or finding a flashlight where oh, that feels very Resident Evil, where it has that vibe. And I like that he's taking it seriously. He's not making it too campy or too over the top, like those Paul W.S. Anderson movies that were terrible. So it's really great to see a new version of this story. And I think he's respecting the spirit while also making it his own thing. And I think that's on full display here. I mean, it looks terrifying. It looks fun. It looks super entertaining. I think hopefully he'll go 3 for 3 with this one, but he's just the kind of name now when he's coming out with a film. I am seated. I can't wait to see what he does and talk about a great teaser trailer. I think it does a great job building up hype and also getting you very interested in this world. And good for Austin Abrams. I can't wait to see him in a leading role. I think he deserves it. So very, very excited for Resident Evil. Now, shifting gears a little bit. Actually, no, screw it. We're going to stick with horror. Let's go with the other trailer that we have. So we're going to go with Evil Dead Burn. That's right. We have a new Evil Dead movie hitting theaters this summer. And this one is, what is this, the third, fourth in the series? Andres, you probably know better than me at this point.
I think it's probably the sixth, because there's
sixth?
3 original Evil Dead movies from Sam Raimi, and then there's the remake, and then there's Evil Dead Rise. So yeah, it's 6.
Yeah.
Yep, it's the 6th Evil Dead film, folks. So we got our first peek at the trailer here. It's gross, baby. It's real gross in that Evil Dead way. So what do we think about this trailer? I wasn't sure where this one was going to fall on my most anticipated list for the summer, but I definitely have thoughts after this trailer. But let's start with you, Andres. What did you think of this one?
Yeah, so with Evil Dead is probably just one of my favorite horror franchises as well. But there was a little... I will admit I was probably one of the few that was a little disappointed with Evil Dead Rise, because I felt like it had a superb first 2 acts, and then it had a third act that kind of dropped the ball for me a little bit in terms of what I like seeing in an Evil Dead movie. And so I wasn't necessarily too excited about the idea of Lee Corrin still being attached to this franchise as a producer. But I will say, when you make a horror movie that's about something and that has a little bit of an emotional grounding that this trailer so far deals with, in the fact that this is about a woman who has lost, a widow who is going to spend a little bit of time with her in-laws at a secluded cabin. And the in-laws are very clearly just like those people that are like, we'll do anything to get our boy back. And when you say anything, it's like, that is prime for an Evil Dead scenario right then and there. So the idea of a widow going up against her in-laws in this Evil Dead fashion, it really gets me excited. And then also with all the elements that are in this as well, in this trailer, the gore is fantastic. I mean, even just that last shot of the Deadite, taking a shot of candle wax and just going, to the dead. I was like, oh God, That is horrifying. But but I will say, just from this trailer alone, I will never look at a dishwasher the same way ever again.
every wife in America is like, see, I told you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we had this conversation before, but I think, like, who the hell puts their knives like that in a dishwasher?
Yeah, you're supposed to put them upwards. I mean,
like I said,
downwards.
Like I said, every husband who's been doing that is going to get scolded after seeing that trailer.
Exactly.
but so far from everything I've seen in this teaser trailer, I'm really excited for it. So, definitely looking more forward to it, more than I did The Mummy.
Okay, Nancy, how are we feeling?
Well, the knife thing is what's so funny is we saw this in front of Mortal Kombat. I went to go watch it last night with Eric, and the first thing I said when I saw the dishwasher, I leaned over, I was like, who puts their knives like that? And then he goes, have you seen this trailer yet? I was like, no. I was like, oh, someone's gonna fall on those fucking knives. I already know it. But yeah, no, this looks like standard Evil Dead goodness, which I love. And it's funny that we're getting different family members that seem like they're going to turn in a sense, because for some reason it kind of gives that Texas Chainsaw Massacre feel of you have this like family that's trying to like get you in with them, which is a kind of cool twist to it. But I definitely want to see more in terms of the trailer, because I feel like the last few haven't really given me anything new to add to the franchise other than really gross kills, which still great. Like, I love that they're upping that. So yeah, I think the trailer still looks good. I just want to see more.
Gotcha. See, like, I'm like, when it comes to the Evil Dead franchise, like, I enjoy it. I'm not like a diehard fan of it. Like, I enjoyed Evil Dead Rise. I enjoyed some of those earlier Evil Dead films. I enjoyed the kind of like gross comedy humor of it all. I feel like just the kills are always fun to watch, and it always has that like really sinister but playfully so vibe. But the thing that really stood out to me in this trailer is I'm loving the camera work, like loving the camera work, loving the cinematography. That's what makes me really excited for this one. There's like a mirror shot in this trailer that is fucking amazing, where I was like, whoa, wait, hold on. what are we doing here? Like this is gonna be different. This feels different. And just the way that the camera is moving and a lot of these set pieces that we're getting glimpses of in the trailer looks fantastic. It just looks lively. Like, it looks a little bit more energetic than other Evil Dead entries, and I'm really feeling it. It still has that Evil Dead vibe. You have those sweeping shots of, the forest and kind of going through the trees and all that stuff that feels very Evil Dead. But I think the camera work and the cinematography is going to give this an added touch that I think it's going to need to really stand out. And it still looks like an Evil Dead film. It looks fun. It looks gory. It looks visceral. And I do like the central concept here. And I'm in. I mean, this is one of the grossest trailers I've seen in quite some time, but I mean that as a high compliment. Like, I think this is going to be a really fun time at the movies. And I think they even already greenlit another Evil Dead film that's going to come out in another couple years. I think it's like Evil Dead. What's the name of that one? Evil Dead.
I forget what it's called, but they greenlit an entire trilogy. So yeah, they have full confidence in this franchise.
Oh, Evil Dead Burn, I think is. Wait, hold on.
No, this one's Burn.
This one's Burn. Sorry, this one's Evil Dead Wrath. That's the one.
Yes.
Evil Dead Wrath, 2027 or 2028. They're saying. So
just pumping them out.
Yeah. I guess they must have a lot of faith in this one if they already greenlit another. So that says something.
Well, Lionsgate also had faith in The Strangers, and they greenlit 3 movies.
Well, I mean, in their defense, they were super cheap, so maybe they thought they could make a profit, like Blumhouse does with a lot of their movies. But
and they didn't
quite work out. But now we're going to be shifting gears to probably the most highly anticipated film of the summer. Naturally, it's a Christopher Nolan film, and that is The Odyssey. This is our first big peek at the movie, our big first full-length trailer for the film, which hits theaters in July. This is our big look at his new epic. What do we think about this trailer? And can we just talk about how awful the discourse for this movie has become? Because my God, I just don't understand the internet sometimes. But anyway, let's focus on the trailers.
Maybe I am the internet. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. Why don't you start us off, Nancy, if you're the internet?
Okay. Well, to be fair, I haven't really seen much in terms of like what people have been saying. So I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But probably am. I look, it's Christopher Nolan. Like, we all know he
no.
can deliver.
Hey,
Okay,
look. No
listen.
good thing starts with a look.
We all know he's going to deliver a good movie. And with the Odyssey, obviously you're going to have to rely heavily on the visuals of it and the acting because we already know what the story is. So it's not like we're going in there for the plot. I will say one thing that is kind of exciting and cool is thinking about, you know, people who are now learning about the Odyssey. You know, I think freshman year, like sophomore years around when you start learning about the Odyssey. And I remember when I was in high school or school, when I would learn about something and the movie would come out about it, it was just so cool because our teachers would always, you know, tell us to go watch it. And then we talk about it at school. And I think that portion of it is pretty cool to think about it. And it looks great. Visually, it looks great. What's taking me out of it is Matt Damon just being in a period piece. I feel like always takes me out of it. And I feel like some people, maybe on the show, I don't know, kind of look at his trailers with like Nolan eyes of like, I'm going into it. I already know it's genius. It's going to be fantastic. And so a little bit of rose colored glasses, I think. Well earned sometimes. But
fuck, man.
Listen, I feel like what I don't like is that we're
just put the dog down, dude.
Overall, I think it looks good. I think it looks good. I want to go see it. We all know it's going to be a great movie. If you can keep it under 3 hours, please just keep it under 3 hours.
I think it is. I think it's only like 2.5-ish.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard it's only 2.5.
Perfect. That makes me want to see it more. I don't want anything that's 3 hours long and shoehorning every possible celebrity and big name that we possibly can in one movie. That's my only concern. Is I feel like Nolan's starting to take that route of like, I'm going to shoehorn every big name into my movies. And I don't want him to start going this Scorsese route where it's like, oh, I'm doing my passion projects. I'm getting all these people in it. And it's very obvious it's a passion project and it's too long. So I still think this looks good. I'm just saying, let's not give it hype before the trailer even comes out. That's my only qualm. And maybe let's not shove every face that we possibly like, famous face that we can into one movie. I will say Robert Pattinson looks fantastic. Like his acting is gold in this trailer, and I'm very impressed. Didn't think he had it in him.
Did you see the drama?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you got to see the drama, man.
Okay.
He's incredible in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like having this upward trend, which I
Dude,
love.
He's
for him.
killing it. He's absolutely killing it.
Love this for him. But yeah, Tom Holland, Matt Damon kind of take me out of it a little bit. Yeah, and the dialogue is a little new agey, little out of that period of time. So yeah, I mean, again, listen, we all know it's going to be a good movie, but again, let's just maybe see the trailer and the movie first before we say Christopher Nolan's a genius. That's all.
Okay. That was a journey, man. That was a journey. All right, Andres, how about you?
There's a specific reason why I'm saying this. I'll say it off the show, though.
Okay.
All right.
All
right. I will say one thing. Christopher Nolan is a genius, but he doesn't always stick the landing for me. And when I will say, I don't think his interpretation of Insomnia is great. And I know I'm in the minority on that.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that one either.
Yeah. And then also I hated Tenet. I
actually like Tenet.
Oh my God, I don't think
I enjoy it. I think it's fun. What I can hear is fun.
It's fun. It's fun. But when Chris Nolan actively goes out and tells people, well, if you didn't like Tenet, then you didn't see it the way it was meant to be seen in IMAX. And I'm like, motherfucker, I drove 2 hours to Vegas to the only IMAX that was open on the West Coast to go see your stupid movie. All right. Don't tell me what I did and didn't do to enjoy your film. But, however, I did love Oppenheimer. I loved Oppenheimer. And everything I'm seeing with the Odyssey so far, I think the weird thing with the discourse is that people are complaining about things that have not been a secret and that have been revealed for like 7 or 8 months. Like some of the casting choices and some of the other things as well too. Like I forget who Lupita Nyong'o is playing, but everyone's going like, "Oh, you really are going to cast her as oh my god, I'm blanking on the names right now, but that's the yeah, there you go."
I mean, two things.
I think she's playing Helen of Troy.
Yes, Helen of Troy.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that's stupid. But I mean, two things is like keep in mind.
Wait, stupid that she's playing her, or stupid that people are getting upset?
Stupid that the discourse.
Okay, yeah, good to have clarity there.
Yeah, sorry. Stupid people are complaining about it. I think keep in mind, not everyone keeps tabs of who is appearing in these movies months before the trailer comes out. So I would think that could be why we're hearing the chatter now. And two, yeah, people are stupid. So. I'll agree that part of people complaining about that is dumb.
Yeah. And the other thing too that's also just really strange about this as well is that, I know Nolan has basically said that he wanted to present the movie in a way that wasn't going to hinder the what is called the performances on certain people, or that wasn't going to draw attention to itself in its way. And in that sense, I'm like, yeah, but you're still drawing attention to it by saying you're trying to ignore it, if that makes sense. So I get why people are upset, but also at the same time, I don't. But for what's there in the teaser trailer so far, I mean, the scope looks great. Just the fact that everything that's in the movie is actually caught on camera because of the fact that they shot this on an IMAX camera where, adding VFX work to it is far more complicated to add to an IMAX frame than it is to add to like a regular frame entirely. So honestly, everything for myself, at least, and someone who is, I consider myself a Nolan fan, but I don't consider him to be like everything he makes is fantastic. His hits his hits are right on the mark. His misses are interesting swings. But I will say for this one, I think it's probably going to end up being more of a hit for me because of the fact of like not only just seeing this trailer, but also having seen the 10 minutes of footage in front of Avatar back in December. And, it's one of those things where there's enough breadcrumbs here that I'm willing to hope that this is going to be good and that this is going to be great. And also it is probably one of my most anticipated of the entire year. In fact, I think it might be my most anticipated so far, right next to Doom Part 3, because I know what I'm getting with Doom Part 3. I know that's going to be a masterpiece, but with this film in particular, it's just going to be an interesting experiment to see what Nolan does when he shoots an entire movie for IMAX and just how he's able to really capture just the epicness of everything. And also, I know people are also complaining about the fact of like certain armors that were way back when in the day. And I'm like, guys, it just sounds like you're nitpicking by this point. So overall, I'm still really looking forward to it. I don't have any real problems with it. I think the trailer hasn't moved the needle for me at all. And I say this in the best way possible.
See, my complaints were not that bad as the internet's. I think it was fine.
I think it was okay.
The 2.5 hours does sell me more on this movie. I'm not going to lie.
The runtime really sold her, put her in that seat. But yeah, I mean, seriously, in terms of like a big main trailer to put out there, I mean, this one, I think for me at least gets the job done. I mean, look, I'm a big fan of Nolan's work. Like Andre's, like I can acknowledge his misses, but I think he has far more hits than he does misses. And when he does hit, he hits big. I absolutely adored Oppenheimer. I loved what he did with that. The thing that I love about Nolan is that you can never really underestimate him in terms of the stories that he chooses to tell. Because on paper, a story about Oppenheimer, like a biopic, making that like a 3-hour movie for IMAX doesn't really sound like a must-see adventure. And then you see the movie and it feels like a blockbuster biopic film, and that's like his magic. And also it being an R-rated film as well, and the idea that it was going to go head-to-head against Barbie, like people were already kind of going like, I mean, before anyone saw any footage, people were going like, this is going to bomb. And then the second that both trailers came out, people were just like, oh, this could stand toe-to-toe with Barbie. So, that's never count out Nolan on that front. So I agree with you on that, Tom. Yeah, and like the thing is about Nolan is that especially when he, announced that he was, doing an adaptation of the Odyssey, I was like, that is fascinating. Like that's a very dense story to try to tackle. It's also a very daunting story to try to tackle. But I was like, you know what? I feel like Nolan can knock this one out of the park. And what I'm seeing in this trailer, I mean, just the scope and the visuals are breathtaking, which is not surprising in any way, shape, or form. The fact that the entirety of this film was shot with IMAX cameras, that of course Nolan, played a part in getting this technology developed that allowed even dialogue scenes to be shot in IMAX. So to see this one in IMAX is going to be a sight to behold. I can't wait. That's going to be amazing. That's worth the price of admission alone. But in terms of the story, it looks like he's also faithfully adapting the story. There's characters and locales and events that you see in the trailer that are in the story that I think look really fantastic, like the Cyclops and the in-camera effects, with the differences in size. I think the scale of that is done really, really well. The thing I love about Nolan, too, is that he loves to capture as much as he can in camera practically without having to rely on visual effects. He likes to kind of just use visual effects as like sprinkling afterwards if he needs it, which I really appreciate. So the scope's there. The performances for the most part here look really solid. I think Pattinson, was great to see him get so much of this trailer to himself, because I think he's going to be an amazing villain in this trailer as, this head suitor who's trying to, take on the throne there. But if I'm being honest, look, I am a very big Matt Damon fan. But I have to say, I do kind of agree with Nancy that when I see him in a period movie, it does kind of take me out of it a little bit. And I'm going to be honest, there are instances in this trailer where like I had to snap myself out of it. I'm like, oh, that's Matt Damon. And like, there's just like little things where like, I'm hoping that when I'm watching the film in the context of the film, the performance will work. But I will say, seeing him in a period piece does kind of like, I have to adjust to it, I think. But I still think he'll deliver a solid performance because there's a great journey here for that character, obviously. So I think he can nail those emotional beats and bring the gravitas that we need. And I couldn't be more excited for this movie. I'm really, really excited for it. Any Nolan film is worth being excited for. So we'll see what happens come July. But man, the discourse surrounding this one has been just so ridiculous.
Let's at least just be thankful Ben Affleck isn't in it.
Oh, I would have loved if he just showed up as some character. I would have loved it if he just popped up.
There's a part of me that was kind of hoping that he was going to play the Rob Pattinson role of the suitor.
I'd be in.
There you go.
But yeah, we'll see come July. But speaking of blockbuster films, we have a main event to talk about this week, folks. We already kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but it's time to talk about Mortal Kombat II, the highly anticipated sequel that, of course, is based on the beloved video game franchise. This one stars Carl Urban as Johnny Cage, who gets recruited for the Mortal Kombat tournament because the fate of humanity is in his and the rest of his team's hands. And they got to fight, man. They got to fight, and sometimes to the death. So we got our movie here. We're going to be talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film, you might want to stop watching or listening to this episode because you will have things spoiled for you. But if you don't care, or if you've already seen the film, feel free to continue watching or listening. So we'll talk about our general thoughts first, and then we'll dive into some spoiler territory. So let's start with you, Nancy. What were your thoughts going into the movie? How did you feel about that first film? And of course, what did you think about this new movie?
The first film was fun. I think the highlight of the first one was the end scene, unfortunately, with Scorpion and Sub-Zero. And then also the beginning. So it kind of bookended the movie for me, but in the middle it was just kind of wow. I know we also, we have the addition of Cole, who really isn't in the games, and there wasn't an actual tournament that happened. So the first one definitely felt more set up than anything, and I love that we actually got to the fighting and the tournament in this one. I definitely loved it more than the first one. It's not a great movie, but it's very much fun to watch, and also brings me back to playing the games and the original movies as well. I think Carl Urban as Johnny Cage is fantastic. All his scenes I loved. I think his character and Kano were the highlights of the movie for me. And yeah, there were definitely more gory deaths in this one, which I appreciated. A lot more fatalities. There was one in particular that I didn't see coming. I was like, oh shit, okay, we're going there. So overall I enjoyed it. I think there's definitely some issues I had with how they set up the tournament, and get into that a little bit in more detail later, but it felt like it was trying to build momentum, and it finally got there, but it felt a little slow going at first. There was also some dialogue issues I had at the beginning. Was not totally on board with Cage. A few lines were just, they felt clunky, they felt weird, and still, even as great as the fighting was, there were some that felt a little awkward. So it wasn't consistently good, I think, is the issue. Is it was very up and down throughout. But overall I had a good time, and definitely better than the first one. They don't hold up to the originals, unfortunately. To me, those, I think, will just always be cheesy and great and fantastic, and I can rewatch those anytime. But still fun.
Okay. How about you, Andres? I know you're probably the biggest Mortal Kombat fan out of all of us.
Oh yeah, I love that franchise as well too. Same thing with Resident Evil for me. Mortal Kombat is one that is holds a special place in my heart as well. And I love that 1995 movie just for the sheer 90s cheese of it, and the nostalgia element of it as well is great. I even also like Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I'm not going to lie.
It's fun.
It's fun, but it's really bad. But I will say the 2021 movie felt like it had a superb opening, I think, and it had a really good final fight sequence. But I think there's so much in that movie that feels like a studio exec is just crossing out the things that people want in a Mortal Kombat movie. And it felt very cynical, for lack of a better word. And it felt very much like they did not capture the spirit of that game and what the feeling of playing that game was. And honestly, it was such a miss for me. It was such a miss, and it was disappointing as well too, because they did have the R rating, they did have the gore, but it was all window dressing for a really bad movie, I think. Having said that, when I found out that the creatives were going to be involved with this movie, I was very much not all that excited, but given the fact that they were going to be going into the tournament aspect, and given the fact that they were going to be including Johnny Cage in this, and now having seen the movie, I feel like this was probably one of the biggest course corrects I've seen in a movie, and a course correct to a much better franchise, I think, going forward. So overall, I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It is dumb. It is so unbelievably dumb. And it is proud of how dumb it is. But God, I'd be lying if I didn't tell you I had such a great time watching this. I mean, I swear to God, my movie theater, it was almost like going to a rock concert. And there were so many people that got like this Shao Kahn popcorn bucket that like it was like a mask in the head. Yeah, yes. And the thing was, anytime Shao Kahn popped up, there was like a whole row of people that all had the popcorn bucket, and anytime he popped up, they would just start raising their helmets up in the air.
Jesus.
And during one big moment, not only were everybody in the audience cheering, we'll get into this when we get into further spoilers, but it involves Shao Kahn, but God, it was just like one of the biggest like contributing factors for like really having fun with this was just the audience was completely in on it as well. And yeah, and also the fights are so much more improved. The emotional element to, when I say emotional, I don't mean like, oh, I was crying while this scene was happening. It's like, no, I get the reasons why these fights are happening, and I get why people are doing what they're doing, but yeah. So overall, I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. The fights are far better. Everything feels like a step up. Johnny Cage is a great addition. Pairing him with Kano was just chef's kiss. So yeah, really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I can't recommend it enough as a fan of the franchise.
I feel like I want to rewatch this because I drove 2 hours yesterday. I drove 2 hours yesterday to come to my parents straight from work. got like an hour break, and then went straight to the movie to watch it at 9:55 p.m. And there was like 8 people in the theater and one 10-year-old, which was weird. I'm like, shouldn't you be in bed?
Have to grow up real fast.
Yeah. But maybe I'll give it a rewatch because I was definitely tired when I watched it, and it wasn't a lively audience either.
I will say one other thing too is I was actually planning on rewatching this movie last night. I was going to go to a 10 o'clock showing, but I made the unfortunate choice of watching The Bride with my wife before going out, and then I saw The Bride, and then for some reason it just killed any momentum I have. I was like, I think I'm just too tired to go anywhere.
That movie almost makes you want to stop watching movies.
Yeah,
dude, I could wax poetic about what a misfire that one is.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Just don't give Maggie Gyllenhaal any more movies.
Damn, R.I.P. your Friday night. So with Mortal Kombat, like with Resident Evil, casual player of the games, and not like a diehard fan. I'm not going to spot every character and be like, hey, it's him or her. Like I'm not that guy. And as for the 2021 film, really didn't care for it. I thought it had some cool moments. I enjoyed the opening, character development of Sub-Zero and Scorpion and their whole backstory. I thought was great, and I thought their final fight was fantastic and really fun, and definitely felt video game-esque. And I just wanted the movie to lean into that more, which this sequel absolutely does. I mean, like Andre said, this is a gigantic course correction. This is a sequel that understands fans' complaints, and this is for the fans. You could tell it's much more goofy, it's much more campy, it's much bloodier for sure. There's a lot more attention paid to the fight sequences and making them over the top fun. This is a movie that just wants to entertain you. It's not trying to get you emotionally invested too much. It's definitely not trying to give you the most complicated story for sure. That's for damn sure. And it's just trying to give you some popcorn entertainment, and I think it does that for the most part. I think the best part of this movie for me is Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. I think he was such a great choice to play this character, even though his journey is very familiar and we've seen it a million times before. I think he sells it well. He gives it that kind of like gruff charm that this character needs. And I think, and I sincerely say this, I think one of my favorite moments of the year, and this is, I guess, a spoiler, but I don't care. We're talking spoilers anyway in this review, is when he has his like flow state moment with Baraka, I think it is.
Yes.
And you just see him like smiling ear to ear as they're like doing this like windmill like moment or whatever. I don't know. It just brought me so much joy. And I was like, this is what was missing from the first film, this kind of fun. And I think overall, I just had a lot more fun with the sequel. It's very, very dumb, but it's also very fun. And I think fans, have really embraced this one, and rightfully so. So it's a welcomed course correction. It does have many a problem, but on the whole, I think it's a good time at the movie. So let's jump into spoilers. What did we love? What did we not love? Just throw some stuff out there. Throw it at the wall. Go for it.
I love all of Carl Urban's Lord of the Rings little Easter eggs he threw in there. Honestly, like I said, and everything with Johnny Cage I loved, especially the scene with Baraka. That scene was so dumb that it worked.
I know. I loved
it. Especially that part when he goes back to talk to Baraka at the end as well. Just his chemistry with Kano, that was funny.
Kano, man, love Kano.
They just did such a good job.
Josh Lawson crushes it as Kano.
I was still kind of hoping they bring back the little metal plate for his eye. They didn't, but that's fine. He's still.
I think they made up for it when he was like, "Hey, Pennywise."
Yeah.
So, hey, Voldemort's nutsack. Like, oh my god, just the amount of shit talking towards Quan Chi was hilarious in this movie. And also, I just love the fact that all the Revenants were not themselves, but they came across just one little slight way they could still have Kano be Kano. It's like, well, why is Kano the same exact way he was before he died? And it's like, well, he didn't really have a soul before he died, so he's just the same way he was. And then I love just the fact that he's like, loophole. I was like, oh my god. Oh man. And then can we all? Here's the thing. With these movies, when people turn from one side to the other, I did not understand why Kano turned from a good guy to a bad guy in the last movie. It was so stupid. Whereas this one, I absolutely understood why he went back to the Earth Realm side at the end, because he's like, guys, have you seen Outworld? This shit sucks. I want everything. I want Jack. I want Coke. I want threesomes. I want foursomes. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, that was fun. That was when he's like, I want rum and Coke. I want rum. I'm a Coke. And like the 10-year-old started laughing in front of me. I was like, I don't think you even get that joke.
And if he does, I have questions.
Yes, exactly. But no, I think in the first one, I kind of understood it because, he's not really good or bad. It feels like he just like flows where the money goes.
Yeah, he's just kind of in that like moral gray area.
Yeah. But so great. Yeah, and like we talked about, I think the fight scenes were great. The one that I was surprised at, I know he was going to die, but not the way he did, was Cole. I was like, oh, dude, shit.
You could tell this. Yes. You could tell this movie wanted to get rid of him as soon as humanly fucking possible because they know how much the fans hated that character, and it's not surprising that he was, killed brutally.
They didn't even follow through with the end of the first one, because at the end of the first one, he's the one that's like, oh, I'm going to go to Hollywood and find Johnny Cage and all this. And then Raiden and Sonya Blade show up. And I was like, oh, I guess, Cole's not even in this movie. Like, what do we do with him? It's like, oh, no, he's just in the background. He's going to get brutally murdered. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I will say that fight actually was really, really cool in itself, in terms of just the choreography and in terms of the fact that it was like, oh man, if Shao Kahn hadn't been cheating, Cole might have actually come out of this. But the mere fact that he slit his throat and then all of a sudden his throat started growing back, you could just hear in the audience just like, oh shit, he gonna die.
Which is funny because I'm like, did no one pay attention when they were talking about this amulet thing? Like, everyone was so shocked that he kept like regenerating. I'm like, they went over this. Like, you should know what's happening.
Yeah, they went over it, but also I think they also kind of put a thing in there where it's like, there was a chance it could work, there's a chance it can't work, and then the second that it was working, then it was like, oh, okay, we're all screwed over here in Earthrealm then, unless we destroy that amulet.
Yeah, I think also Katana. Okay.
No, I mean, actually, that kind of leads to my next point, so that kind of works out. Katana rules in this. I think Katana's great. I think her backstory was surprisingly really solid. Like, I think, again, they're 2 for 2 with opening scenes in this franchise. I feel like the opening scene fleshing out her backstory as a child of how Shao Kahn killed her father in combat, and now she has to, like, be, a slave to him essentially, but she's, secretly working in the shadows to try to like overtake him. I thought that whole story was really well done. I felt like the actress was really solid. I felt like there were nice emotional stakes there. And also she got to be pretty damn badass as well. So no complaints.
Yeah, her kill is my favorite. They did a really good job with her fan blades. I really like that they added it. It looked good. And yeah, her final kill was brutal.
That shit was good. I will say though that the fights in this though, like, they're definitely improved, but I have to say there's a big inconsistency in quality of the fights. I feel like there are some fight sequences that are really awkward and stiff, where the choreography just like isn't up to snuff, or the performers just like, they're just not fluid enough. And then there's action sequences like the one, I don't know the 2 characters' names, the ones that like that they're brothers, I guess. I don't know.
Liu Kang and Kung Lao.
Yeah, that sequence was incredible. I think that's the best sequence in the movie. The choreography, the camera work, everything felt like just so top tier. I was like, if they can maintain this quality, like we're in good hands right here. But like that sequence in and of itself is better than the entirety of the first film. Like, I just thought what they were able to achieve there, and what's a lot of the other fight sequences in the movie was really impressive, but that one in particular was just so cool. So many great visual flourishes, and there was also like an emotional component to it as well. I thought that was great. So I was like, more of this, please.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I thought Liu Kang was gonna die for a second. And when the blade's stuck in the ground and he's just like, oh, and his fire goes out, I thought he was gonna sacrifice himself for some reason. I was like, what are you doing? You're gonna die. And then the way he kills him, I was like, oh, that's smart. Good job.
Yeah, and also just his last moment with Kung Lao as well too, where he's like, "I'm gonna save you, brother. It's just not today." And I was like, "Oh God!" like, and just also the way he kills Kung Lao as well. I was like, "Ooh, that's rough."
Like, crazy. I thought they were cousins in the first one.
I think cousins. No, I think they both are. I think they both live in the same monastery, Shaolin monk monastery. So technically brother, but not brother by blood.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So like Fast and Furious brothers.
Yeah, there you go. We're all family. They're all family.
But I will say, going back really quickly to one of the fights, the Cole Young and Shao Kahn fight, I thought had a perfect ending to it where, the second they smash his head in, and then just the little cherry on top of the sundae where Shao Kahn just like dips his body into the Deadpool and into the acid. I was like, damn, the disrespect. His body ain't even going to be around to be collected. I thought that was hilarious. And I think that was like a real like fan fiction writing element right there, where it's like, yeah, let's just kill Cole and let's just make sure that there's no way he can come back in this sense. Even though I do feel that at some point, because what's his name, the guy who plays Scorpion is actually retiring from acting, and
Hiroyuki Sanada's retiring.
No,
but he's going to be in the next season of Shogun, though.
I think that's one of the last things he's going to do, and then he's going to retire.
And one more Mortal Kombat.
No, I think he's done with Mortal Kombat.
One more.
I don't know. This feels like a Robotnik situation. I feel like if we throw enough money there, we can get him back in the saddle. But I feel like he's one of those actors that I immediately become happier when I see him, because I just know like he's going to crush it like every single time, and I'm happy that he got some like solid screen time in this one. Like, of course, fighting Sub-Zero again. He's like, nah, I'm good. I got my piece. I got my retirement here. And then he's like, Sub-Zero's alive. He's like, well, fuck this. I'm going to...
And Kano eating the fruits.
Yeah. So good. So
and
good.
I don't care if they have to shoehorn it in. I will always love when he says, get over here. Like,
oh, yeah.
Just add it in every time. I don't care.
Yeah, like, even though it sounds nothing like him.
Yeah, I know.
And they know it, too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's still great. I'll still take it.
Yeah. I mean, I will say their fight in the underworld isn't as good as the one in the first film. No. I will say this one was kind of a little bit too goofy and visual effects heavy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand he's supposed to be like the dark Sub-Zero or the Shadow Sub-Zero or whatever that's in the game.
Noob Saibot.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. It's more fun when they fight with their powers when he has, his actual Sub-Zero powers. So I think that was kind of, the flaw in that.
I think they're going to save a Sub-Zero potential reunion for the third movie, because if you remember, Nancy, the Sub-Zero that pops up in Mortal Kombat Annihilation is actually just his younger brother, but just looks exactly like him.
Yeah, it's like in freaking, which Tom still hasn't seen, Beer Fest.
Why does this movie just keep coming up?
It's relevant to everything.
I've never seen this movie mentioned so many times, and when I talk to you guys,
you need to watch it. It's so good. But anyways, yeah. Oh, maybe they'll bring Frost into the third one.
Oh, I think that's definitely a possibility.
She's actually my favorite character. Frost. Yeah. So hopefully she'll be in the third. Yeah, I think one of the big things I had an issue with was how they did the tournament. What to me brings the tournament to life is in those original movies, you have people watching, you have them in an arena. So when they get zapped to, it's just those two fighting. The fight itself is good, but I feel like the aftermath and what's surrounding it in terms of the story just feels so lackluster, especially with Cole. Like 30 minutes later, they're like, wait, where's Cole? Oh man, he's dead. There's no like emotion behind it. Whereas when we see Jax get killed, that was rough. Not only the way he died, but then seeing Sonya Blade react to it. And so I feel like it would have been better if it was actual tournament style, where it's in an arena and an audience and all of that, and they would have kept it how it was in the original films, because it felt very like, okay, now this fight happened until we get to the very end where we do have more of an audience.
Yeah, see, I feel like that is an issue I have with the movie, is that it basically is just like one fight to the next fight to the next fight, and there's very, very little story in between, where like you could tell they're not interested in telling any sort of story, but it's kind of a bummer, because I feel like, okay, maybe there's not a ton of story in the games because you're mainly fighting the entire time, but like you're making a film, at least attempt to tell a story and not just say, like, set up this tournament and then just go fight, because it kind of just gets repetitive after a little while. And like Nancy said, there's not a ton of emotional stakes in it just because you're going from fight to fight, and these deaths are handled kind of like haphazardly, where it's just like, oh, they're dead. Well, next fight, like it was just kind of like a weird, pacing thing where I was just like, I just wish that like there was a little bit more development for certain characters or that a little bit more story was there. There's just very little meat on the bones in terms of the story. I would just say like that, and in combination with like some of the goofy special effects here and there where I feel like it kind of took me out of it, where like, cause you have some great like grounded-ish, fight sequences. And then you have other ones where it's just like CGI the show. And it's just kind of like you're watching like rubbery characters jump and fly and do all this stuff where it just doesn't feel as tactile as I wanted to. So that was a little bit of a bummer. So I would say like those two things for me at least hold it back.
I would agree with you on that too. I mean, I think probably a lot of the flaws I have with this movie are probably I think they're probably a direct influence on what that first movie was. And in terms of just like, the first movie felt like it tried to do so much story, but didn't do it well at all. And then it just went, it's so I do agree that the story elements in this aren't necessarily 100% smooth. And also some of the scene transitions are really bad. Like there's one in particular with Katana and Jade where all of a sudden it's like she gives her this fan and then it cuts to the next scene and it's so haphazardly edited that I'm like, oh God, are we in for the same thing? And thankfully the movie was still able to keep up its energy, I think. But for me, yeah, it's definitely the script, definitely some fights definitely were weaker than the others. I think probably the weakest one for me, sadly enough, was Sindel and Sonya in the pit. And that is one of my favorite locations, but I just kind of felt like, okay, there's kind of really not much here. And also the choreography isn't all that good. So yeah, that was probably one of my biggest flaws with the movie. But I mean, in terms of another big thing that we haven't talked about as well, I thought Shao Kahn was perfect in this movie. I thought he was exactly hulking and menacing as he should be. So yeah.
He was a big boy.
Yeah.
He's a big old boy with a big boy gym.
Yeah. Also, what I thought was funny when he's like, all right, let's go fight. And Cole's like, to the death. And he's like, well, like, they don't have to. They can technically let you go. It's up to them. And I was like, what? Since when? Like, all the Mortal Kombat movies we had in the original, it's like, nah, you die, and then your soul gets taken. He didn't take a soul this movie. And I was like...
Well, how else was Johnny Cage supposed to live?
Yeah, I guess. Sure. But,
she's like, fuck, fine.
Fine.
But it's just kind of funny that they, like, threw that in there. It's like, okay. Like,
yeah, I mean, honestly, because I feel like that was like their justification for like how Johnny Cage could live past that like first bout, because like otherwise he absolutely would have been brutally murdered. Like there's no going about it. But like I think that's kind of the main reason why they did that. But honestly, I thought it worked because like that only happened like twice or something, because like Jax like returned the favor because like she spared Johnny.
Yeah. I just would have liked some souls to be taken. Have him.
Jeez, you guys are gore hungry over here. Jesus Christ!
That's his whole character.
I just want murders.
Your soul is mine. Although he did do that, like he like smacked Johnny Cage with his own soul, which was kind of cool. Like took his soul for a second and like threw him against the wall. So
yeah, I thought that was cool.
That part was pretty cool.
Yeah,
but in terms of one more moment that I really loved as well was when Johnny Cage was talking shit to Baraka, going like, "Man, you should go up against Liu Kang," and then Baraka's like, "All right, I'll fight you guys. I'll fight him." And it's like, "Wait, what?" Like, no, not me. Fight the other dude. They're like, "Well, you were talking shit, Johnny, so you're gonna have to deal with
it." I love how he's like, "I'm gonna die." They're like, "Oh yeah, no, you're definitely gonna die." They all three of them were just like, "Oh," they see Jax in the background, just like.
Yeah.
That part was great. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was great.
No, definitely my favorite scene in the movie for sure. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think, despite its flaws, I just think it's a fun time at the movies. And I think that it's going to give fans what they want. And even just casual fans or non-fans, I think will at least have a good time with it and won't be lost or anything like that. So overall, if I were to give this one a rating, I would give it like a 3 out of 5 pints. I feel like it's entertaining. It's fun. Definitely a lot better than that first film. Carl Urban's a great choice for Johnny Cage. And I think the fight sequences are a lot better and just more gruesome and a really fun Mortal Kombat-y way. And yeah, I had a good time with this one, even despite its little issues. How about you guys? What do you think? What are your final thoughts?
Yeah, I think this was a great Johnny Cage redemption from Annihilation. I love that we get him more than in one scene. And I do think it was a fun movie. I definitely loved it more so than the first one. If we get a third one, let's keep up the good fighting. I don't want it to be where it's now we're just going around redeeming everyone that died and now we get them all back. To me, that was like one of the shocking things about this is that it actually did kill off main characters. So let's not just go and like undo all of that and make the whole movie about that. But yeah, in terms of this movie, I'm gonna give it a 3. I think 3 pints. It was fun. Yeah.
All right, 3. We got 2 3s in the bag. Andres, where you fall?
I think as a fan of the franchise and knowing how much of a course correct this was, and
you're going to give it 3.5, aren't you?
and just feeling. Now hold up. Let me get to it. So
sorry, we're just eager.
Yeah, so with all the fights being improved as they were, and also giving a shit about their outcomes in this version of the story, it's a fun time in the movies. I had such a blast just watching all the gore and watching all the fighting, and also just seeing these characters up on screen that I've been a big fan of since I was a kid. It's not a perfect movie, but damn, is it the movie that we should have gotten the first round through. And honestly, I'm going to break from the pack and I'm going to say this is a 4 out of 5 pints for me.
Whoa,
I really
it goes even higher. 4 out of 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so you heard it here, folks. We got 3 positive reviews for Mortal Kombat 2. And if you've checked it out, definitely let us know in the comments what you thought of the movie. Did you like it as much as we did? Did you like it more or less than that first film? Definitely let us know. And of course, let us know what you thought of the trailers we talked about for the Odyssey, Evil Dead Burn, and what was the other one?
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. Geez, brain fart to the extreme. And Resident Evil. Let us know what you thought of those trailers as well. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the show. And before we head on out, where can the fine people find you guys on the interwebs? We'll start with you, Andres.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter as Galagos. You can also find me on Letterboxd as Galagos. You can also find me editing our current wave of Cinemojis episodes for our mutual buddy, David Jandoyan, which he just announced yesterday. The Kevin Smets and Chandru rematch is going to be happening on Tuesday, I believe. And so, yeah, go check that out because it was a lot of fun to edit, and it was also a ton of fun just to watch and just to witness. So go check that out whenever you get a chance, and then you can also find me here. So there you go.
Very, very nice. Nancy.
You can find me at PL_Band-Aid on Twitter and Instagram. Of course, you can find me here in the comments every once in a while over on Cinemojis. You can also find me on Letterboxd. I'm looking it up right now. I forget what it is. It is I think it's NER86PL is my best guess. Yes, it is. NER86PL. You can find me over there. Thanks.
Alrighty. And you guys could find me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Chattelbash, TikTok at Chattelbash Reviews. You can find me over on YouTube if you just type in Tom Chattelbash, and you can find me on Letterboxd at T Chattelbash if that is your thing. So thank you once again for tuning on into this brand new episode. Whether you watched it or listened to it, we greatly appreciate it. We hope you had a good time and had as much fun as we did. And we will see you on the next episode of Film on Tap, where we've got the tap that never runs out. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Fatality.